Good morning, everybody. It is currently 7:30 on Easter Sunday, so happy Easter, everybody. Today's video, I'm going to go over my plans for this prep starting tomorrow. So I'm going to lay out day of the show, how many weeks it is, and how I'm going to break those weeks up. So you kind of see in the middle of it, I am planning 2 diet breaks. So basically, because I'm going with a longer diet period this time, I don't want to be dieting. I think it's like 24, 26 weeks. So I don't want to be in a calorie deficit for that full 24, 26 weeks. So there's going to be about 2 weeks. Now, it's not a lot, but it's going to be about 2 weeks where I am at maintenance level. Reason for that is to just give my body a break earlier on in the prep. And that I can kind of pace myself so that the last kind of 10 to 12 weeks I can really just go all out to like bring my best package. And the reason why I want to record that today is because this day last year, yes, Easter Sunday 2019, I stepped on stage for the first time. So, as I was saying earlier, today's video is going to be all about the planning of the prep. So there's a couple of things I've written on the board which we are going to go through. I'll go through each one a little more in detail, just to give you a bit of a kind of an insight into my thought process with everything, okay? The main thing is, any fat loss phase, you always need to plan ahead. So always sit down, 5, 10, 15 minutes, just get a pen, piece of paper and plan it out. The more you can plan for, the more likely is that you'll see it through to the end, okay? So what we are going to cover is the show date and number of weeks. So this is really important in helping kind of map everything out. Our starting weight and macros. So it's really important to have a start point to get to your finish point. And then with the macros, that's going to be all about the food, the calories I'm consuming to get to that process. Training split, just to cover what I'm training at the moment. Again, that's going to be different for everyone, so whatever training split you're comfortable with, you do you. Cardio and daily steps, so that's an important one that I'm going to cover, and you know, you're going to see a few bits and pieces about that. And then last but not least, often always forgotten about when we talk about fat loss, is sleep and stress. So I'm going to give you a couple of simple rules to follow to help with that, okay? But we will start off with our show date and number of weeks. So, our show date is the 27th of September. So, that gives me my main goal, okay? Now, the reason why this is important, especially for prep, is you are trying to peak on stage. So, I am trying to look my very best on that date. So, 27th of September is the date that we are looking for. Now, the reason why that's important as well at this time is it gives me a set amount of weeks to plan for. So at this moment in time, I have 24 weeks today. So that means 24 weeks. I know that I have to train, diet, cardio for. Now, the reason why that's important is it gives me a chance to plan ahead. Now, if I was in a calorie deficit for 24 weeks, that is going to be very, very tough to maintain. So one thing I'll be implementing is diet breaks. So a diet break is essentially when you take a break from dieting. Now, because I'm looking to step on stage, I have kind of devised a plan for myself that gives me the best chance to look as good as possible. So starting today, I will go into 6 weeks of dieting, and then I'll take a 1 week diet break. Okay, so then 1 week of a diet break. Now, what that means is for that week, I will pull myself out of a calorie deficit. Okay, so when we're talking about fat loss, calorie deficit is the only way to do it. And then that diet break, I'll pull my calories back up to maintenance. So I'll go really hard for kind of 6 weeks, diet away, and then pull myself up out of that for 1 week. Then I'm going to go back into another 4 weeks of dieting. So, 4 weeks of a diet, and then back into 1 week of a diet break. Okay, so again, exact same principle. 4 weeks dieting away. During that 4 weeks, I will bring in cardio, but I'll talk about that a little later on in the video. And then again, another diet break. So again, just pull myself out of a calorie deficit, kind of maintain it. A couple of reasons for the diet breaks are: one, as I said, 24 weeks in a constant deficit is really tough to maintain. 2, mentally, it's just to give myself a little bit of a break throughout the process, refocus and reset each goals. And 3, for my metabolism, it is very common that if you go for kind of longer periods of dieting, you can find that your metabolism will slow down and adapt. So if you're in a calorie deficit for 12 weeks, your body will adapt over that 12 weeks, so it will become your maintenance. So again, it's just kind of keep my body on track for that 24-week total, okay? So that is 12 weeks there. That leaves me with 12 weeks to lead into the show. So that final 12 weeks is where everything will be kind of pedal to the metal. Nutrition will be really, really on point. Cardio will be in at full effect. I'll probably be going up to 5 to 6 days of cardio at that stage. And everything will be monitored strictly, okay? And again, that's what I'm doing for this 24-week period. That 12 weeks at the end includes a peak week at the end, but I'll talk about that more in another video at some stage. But that is our show date and number of weeks, and that is how you plan towards your goal. With the final goal being the show, I have broken down those weeks to give you little mini goals in between, okay? So next we are going to talk about my starting weight and macros. So, starting weight and macros. So my macros will always be based off my weight during that time. So one thing I will do is I will actually weigh myself every day for the next 24 weeks. Now if something that sounds a bit obsessive, you are right, it is. It doesn't, for me kind of stepping on stage, I'm looking to make sure I can control everything. As I said, what gets measured gets managed. So keeping an eye on that every day will kind of help me closer towards that goal. So my starting weight at the moment is 181.4 pounds, or in kilos, 82.4 kg. Now I will track the whole time in pounds. Reason being, it is easier to see the small changes. So for example, if I weigh myself tomorrow and I'm 181.2 pounds, I know that I've lost weight. So for me, again, it's just how I did it last time. It's what works for me, and it's what I'm going to stick to, okay? So based off that weight is where I get my macros from. So for the start of my prep, my calories are just under 2,600. So I think they're 2,585 or something to be precise, but 2,600 is the goal. So for that, I have 2,600 calories. Protein is at 200 grams. Fats is at 65 grams, and carbs is at 300 grams. So, again, my starting macros with the protein at 200 grams, it's a little over 1.1 grams per pound of body weight. Now again, there's plenty of different formulas out there. This is just the one I use. Fats at 65 grams. If you watch my original video, they were at 75, but I decided to pull them down a small bit just because I don't get a lot of fats in. I've always kind of found that like the 50 gram mark works perfectly for me. So the reason why I have my 65 is because as I get later on into prep, I'm going to have to pull calories from somewhere. So starting off with a higher fat content means I have about 10-15 grams of fats that I can pull out, and that will kind of reduce my calories. Next one is carbs at 300 grams. So the reason why I want to keep my carbs as high as possible is carbs are really important, not just for brain function, but in terms of training, they give our body energy. So training intensity will determine on carbs. So keeping them as high as I can, as long as possible, is one of my main goals. Now they will come down, they won't stay at 300 grams for the whole process. But again, I always want to start a little higher so I can pull them down. If you start too low, you're just going to end up on poverty calories, and you want to try and avoid that as much as you can. Now, it could be possible that you have to do that towards the end, and that's just the nature of prepping. But again, any diet phase, you always want to start as high as you can so you have something to pull down on. And again, for me personally, I prefer carbs. So if you're somebody who prefers fattier foods like peanut butter, nuts, oily fishes, steaks and stuff like that, do start with your fats a little higher and pull your carbs down. Again, adjust it for you. But yeah, that is at my starting point, 2,600 calories. And again, I'll adjust that kind of each week based on how my body weight is coming down. That for me will be spread over 4 to 6 meals. I don't go much more than 6 meals. Before solid meals and 2 snacks. Again, adjust your meals accordingly to you. If you want to eat 2 larger meals and get all those calories into them, go for it. If that works for you, great. And then in terms of this, so with the starting weight being 181.4, my aim is 1 to 2 pounds weight loss per week. So over the 2 weeks, not including diet break, that could be anywhere from 22 pounds to 44 pounds. So you see it's a big gap. The reason why is earlier on, I will look to kind of, especially the 6 and the 4 week gap, that's where I'm going to really try and lose a lot of body fat from food and training alone. I'll get into cardio after this and explain my process with that. But again, a lot of what I do will be food, training and step related, okay? So yeah, next up, we're going to go into my training split. So, training split, now this is going to be a really easy one. Again, find a split that works for you. The last few weeks I have been playing with a 4-day split. So that split is back hamstrings, shoulders and triceps, quads, and then chest and biceps, okay? So that's my 4 days and 1 day off, okay? So, as I said, back and hamstrings, just want to write hammies, shoulders and triceps, quads, and then chest and biceps, and then rest. So 4 days on, 1 day off, and repeat. So, for example, on a normal week, so it'll be Monday back and hammies, Tuesday shoulders and triceps, Wednesday quads, Thursday chest and biceps, Friday rest, and then Saturday we start it all over again. So again, that's a workload that I find works for me. It's a split that I really enjoy and find my body really reacts to it. Now, one thing I do as well is on my shoulder and tricep days, I will add in 1 or 2 bicep exercises. And then on my chest and bicep day, I will add in 1 or 2 shoulder exercises and 1 tricep exercise. The reason for that is shoulders and arms are an area I'm really trying to bring up. So when I diet down, I find that especially my arms, they tend to disappear. I do hold a small bit of fat on them. So when I get leaner, they kind of suck down a small bit. So I try to kind of hit them with a little more frequency than the other body parts. But again, that's just me, okay? So again, that's the split I'm doing at the moment. Whatever split works for you and you feel you can stay consistent with, stick with it, okay? But don't be afraid to try different splits. So next up, cardio and talk about cardio and steps. Now, one thing I kind of said is with the breakup of the weeks, the first 6 week block, I won't be doing any quote unquote cardio. Now, what I mean by that is I won't have any planned cardio sessions. So I'll always plan cardio sessions separate to my weight sessions. For the first 6 weeks, there won't be any. So a couple of reasons for that is, one, I want to kind of see where food-wise I'm at. I really want to maximize the amount of training I can get done that first 6 weeks, so still trying to push getting stronger. And 3 is I don't want to use all my tools at the very start of prep. So again, over a 24-week period, if I do everything at the very start, it means towards the end, all I'm going to have to do is increase everything. I can't add anything in or take anything out. So if I start off with cardio now, I could be doing 2 or 3 hours of cardio for the last few weeks, and I don't want to do that. It's just not healthy, and you will just burn out with that. So first thing is steps. So my daily step count, at a minimum, the aim is 10,000 a day. Okay, now that is kind of the national average that they recommend. For me, I'll just use that as a baseline. My main target is about 15,000 a day, so I will range anywhere from 10,000 to 15,000. Okay, but that will again be spaced out over the week. So there are going to be 1 or 2 days where I just won't hit 15,000. If it's a day where I'm on the laptop doing programming, chance of getting 15,000 steps in are going to be minimized. So over the space of a week, multiply it by 7. That's your target for the week. Make sure you hit that by the end of the week. And again, split it up over 7 days. It doesn't have to be 10,000 every day. If there's a day where you got 8,000, 5,000, just add it on to an extra day. Go for an extra long walk if you can. Okay. Again, that is going to be consistent every day, every week. That is something that gets monitored continuously. So I have my Fitbit on. Again, I track all my steps. I normally wait to go for a walk around 6 in the evening now, going through kind of lockdown. I find it just works for me. I get a lot done during the day, kind of moving around, and then finish off my steps at the end. Okay. Again, that stays consistent throughout prep. That's just a non-negotiable. In terms of cardio, the first cardio session will be during a 4-week block. So my second kind of diet phase, I'm going to say, we will see cardio, come in at 2 to 3 times a week. And they will start off at 20-minute sessions. So, again, I'm not throwing all my eggs into one basket with the cardio. I'm not going to start off at 6 days a week. I'm not going to start off with an hour of cardio every session. I'm going to build that up as well. Now the good thing is you can always judge off your body fat. If it's not coming off quick enough, you can increase it then or pull back on your calories. But again, leave yourself room to work with. Plan ahead, give yourself plenty of time, and don't shoot yourself in the foot, okay? A lot of people will just dive in headfirst into everything. Their body will get used to it, it adapts, it'll stop dropping body fat, and you've nowhere to go. So again, that is my... is sleep and stress. Now, these are two factors a lot of people will overlook when it comes to a fat loss phase. The reason being is they're really, really important on managing hormones, your mentality, and energy levels. So sleep, for example, first of all, I will always aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, and that is a non-negotiable. Okay, reason for that is where we do a lot of our recovery. It is where our body kind of repairs itself, rebuilds, especially in a fat loss phase when your body is kind of in a deficit. It's, energy levels are going to be low, so it's really, really important that you manage your sleep as best you can. So again, 7 to 8 hours minimum. It was something that I was really, really strict on the last time and really served me well. Last thing you want to be doing is using caffeine to keep yourself awake during the day. After all, I'm doing this at an amateur level. I don't get any money for it. So I still have to work a full-time job, maintain relationships. So it is something that's really, really important to make sure you try and keep your energy levels as high as you can. Tiredness will be a factor. The more you can control the sleep, the more you can kind of control that factor. So sleep is really, really important. Same with stress. So stress can be one of the biggest factors of why people do not lose weight. So stress can really elevate hormones that we want to try and keep control of during the whole fat loss process. And the other thing is, stress can be a lot of things. So a lot of people will stress eat. So when you're in a deficit, the last thing you want to be doing is stressing about, X, Y, and Z and going, oh geez, I really want to eat something. You need to try and control your habits. So stress is a really important one. So we want to try and avoid any stress eating. Okay. So a couple of things I do for that is I'll walk every day. Getting out for a walk, listen to a podcast, something really positive, something fun, listen to a bit of music, or reading a book. So again, give yourself that little bit of alone time, so 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, just block off, kind of breathe, take it easy, don't be hard on yourself during this. It is a challenge, so try and control as much stress as you can. And again, just have fun with this. Like, this process is going to be a challenge. If you decide to go into a diet phase now and kind of follow along with me, you will see it is a challenge, but the goal at the end is worth it, okay? So just be consistent, monitor everything, monitor calories, our body weight, sleep. Let's try and stay as stress-free as we can. Now, is that going to happen? No, you are going to get stressed at some stage, but it's just about managing it when it comes up, okay? So there are a couple of factors that are planned ahead for in my prep. So if you have any questions on anything we spoke about, you want me to go into a little more detail, and stuff like the macros, how I came up with those numbers, I will definitely do a video on how I use that. There is a formula I use specific for it, so they're not just randomly made up numbers. So that is something I will go over. But again, if you have any questions, want me to go over anything in a little more detail, leave a comment down below, or message me. Okay? Happy Easter, everybody.